stealing a home, right? All of these different things we see in nature, we can see it all play out with people. Because even though we think that we so smart and intelligent, we still have a natural function as a species that we don't deviate from. But when you talk biological sexuality, you're talking about one specific thing. But when you give the description, you're describing multiple things under the heading of a thing that all of them don't apply.
I think you just touched something. I need to look into that more, because maybe I'm just not putting the right words correctly, but I am saying something that's about to happen. I don't know what it is. I'm not saying I see the future. I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do. And when you do what you're supposed to do, I guess you get gifts, to put it in big terms. But I am talking about something that is soon to happen. Identification. That's a big deal for some reason. I don't know why that keeps popping up in my brain cells, but identification, for some reason, that's something big. And I keep saying biological sexualities, but I like talking about that stuff. It's a good part to help me research, because I want to be a scholar. So
Well, when I was studying sexuality, I even studied the single cell organisms mating rituals. So I know what you're talking about. It also led me into studying different pornographic ideologies, like studying the Kama Sutra, India, studying the geisha, Japan, studying the hustler history of the magazine, Playboy magazine, and the Empire Hugh Hefner about. All of this was me studying sexuality among the human species, because everything we do we think is unique to the human species, but it's all played out by other species of animals under different pretexts throughout the whole of nature, right? So we dress nature up in all kind of fancy shit and say it's something different than nature, right? We try to make nature be what we want it to be instead of recognizing it for what it is. And then understanding that the human is one of the few animal species that can deviate from the laws of nature by application of the will. So the fascination with the study of sexuality in all its forms is a natural curiosity for most people, even if they try to conceal it.
yeah, it does help me push on to researching other stuff about the world. And it's really just mainly about, bugs and mushrooms especially. I don't know what it is, but mushrooms remind me of fish, like octopuses and squids. But they look so cool. But, oh, let me tell you something. My birthday was on Friday. Yeah.
Oh, happy belated birthday,
Yeah.
sweetie.
I turned 25.
Go on with your bad self.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went out with friends, my party friends, where we just walk around and see the lights. But they're more the fun people. But I don't push them on where I'm like book smarts and studying and stuff. They're not the people for that. They're more like, let's go out, see the lights, let's walk around.
Mhm.
So I don't
Well,
really.
that's how you protect your inner child,
Yeah.
because your inner child is your natural innocence, and yours is very prominent.
Yeah.
The,
I take care of it.
the, the people in the comments, they love you. They send you so much love, and they recognize in your youthful um, energy,
Yeah.
right? Some of them even think you a fairy.
Okay. I take care of 2-year-olds. So that pretty much I've been like this before I got the job. Like I took the classes and everything, and they were like, how did you finish your classes? But you didn't have to pay for it. You could have just, got hired and took the classes for free. And I was like, No, I just got it all done and over with before. So they immediately made me the lead teacher, and I took care of the babies like I did, you know. I'm like, they're so cute, like 2-year-olds, like all of them. Like either if they're like Spanish or Asian. I even learned different cultures and different, you know, biology, genetics parts. I just learned a lot. You know, you would think this child is like Chinese, but they're actually Hispanic, you know. So they just look different, you know. It's really cool to be around babies.
Listen, I'm
It's
gonna tell you a secret. A lot of Mexicans have a lot of Chinese in their blood.
yeah. I was like, whoa, I thought the child was this parents, and the teachers are like, just make sure you just remember the parents' faces, you know. But like other than that, like they're very smart. You would think
I was, but it, you know, it taught me a lot, man. It helped me out a little bit. I don't advise it for nobody right now, especially at this time. We need to stay, you know, my thing is everybody trying to be organized, doing the block club thing in the community, trying to get back to the old block clubs to where they can have some type of political stand within the neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? And it worked in my neighborhood. They hired their first black mayor. I actually grew up with him, played football with him, but it wasn't like, you know, like you were saying, you need a female. You know what I'm saying? It needs to be a woman. But you know, he up in there right now, and I guess he's doing pretty good.
Oh, a mare is a female horse.
Right.
Most of
Yeah.
us don't know that, and that the horse was the symbol of the town leader and the elephant of the bigger, right,
Yeah.
matriarchy.
Right.
Like when you get to the elephant part, now you might have 50 mares under you, right?
Right.
Then you get to the Big Mama seat, and Big Mama rode to town with a monkey on her back. He just grew
Mm-hmm.
up to be a gorilla,
Right.
and they wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
They thought Curious George was going to stay curious his whole life.
Right.
They didn't know he was going to turn dangerous.
Yeah.
They
Exactly.
tried to silence him earlier, but it didn't work.
Mm-hmm. That's what it was all about. Yeah. You
Mhm.
knocking on. Yeah. Yeah, but that's like right now, man. I'm in my chill mode. I usually drop posts on Facebook. I be dropping your videos and other people's videos and stuff to keep the people update on what's going on, what people are talking about. But right now I'm in my musical phase when I'm just dropping music. I'm knocking through the music. Don't nobody be hearing what I be saying though. You know, I could tell don't nobody be hearing. But I just drop music on my page right now. I get back into the videos eventually. Like I usually do that all through the winter, all the way to spring. Then once summer break, I start playing the music and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
You be making music
Yeah,
yourself?
yeah, I do hip hop. I did hip hop back in the day. I'm a pretty good lyricist. You know what I'm saying? It's just I've been out of the loop for a while. I ain't even been. I
What's
ain't even been.
what's your favorite joint you wrote?
Man, I ain't really got no favorites.
Every artist got a favorite joint.
I got one that I wrote recently, like a couple years back. It was called uh Cosmic Flare. No, yeah, it's called, what is it? Cosmic Flare. It was called Cosmic Flare. I don't know where the title came from. I made the beat first, and then I just named the beat Cosmic Flare. And then I started writing to it like about 4 or 5 months after that. And I was writing it. I was writing some shit, and I'm like, I had to pull the dictionary up to make sure everything was accurate that I was saying, because I was saying so much different type of shit, but it was all kind of related. But that's one of my favorites. You know what I'm saying?
Do you remember it?
I was trying to remember. I remember a little bit of it. Uh, Damn. It goes like
People in the comments saying spit on, they want to hear so.
it's like
So
determined.
before we go into that, we on a what's called a blues note hip hop knock to a knockback off of a zigzag zig flip across the land. Crooked Man walking his big tookie on an Angel Bay flip off of a Chicago red to a Detroit red to a Detroit dirty red off of a Harlem New York flip to the Apollo on a Larry Hoover soldier turnaround on the Knights is rolling on a zigzag flip back home on the blues note back to the hip hop. Right. So all of that was just to say all of these masters that's behind us have us talking in the public about what appears to be a general conversation in order to get codes from one person to another. It's other people watching that's just here for the codes. They're not here to talk. They're not here to be seen. We don't even know they part of the count. But when we start talking, like when you said the name of the song, Cosmic Flare, we already talking on Malcolm today. We already on Detroit Red. And then Detroit Dirty Red, the song I got off the sister was called Black Coffee. Then your response, okay, so that's Blue House knocked to the Red House, back to the Blue House to the Red. Because your response was Cosmic Flare. That's why I had to ask you what your favorite song is. So the music comes from the Delta Blues. Delta Blues is the Delta Blue. The Delta Blue was abandoned ship on an Oprah Winfrey knock. Oprah is an anagram for Orpha, who when Ruth and Naomi waited for the family redeemer, Orpha, when she got free, was like, fuck them niggas.
Right.
Okay, now, she did a commercial with The Rock, or a solicitation with The Rock. The Rock is the Brahma Bull on the wrestling flip. A WWE, right, flips to a triple M because a W is an upside down M and the E is an M on its side off of a Pyru Crip flip. Right? So now it's a 3M flip, right? Which is Michigan, Minnesota, and Mississippi. Now that's called a triangle flip on the upside down triangle, but it's coming in off a right side up triangle off of a Dallas knock to New York and a Miami knock to New York on a storm front. So the storm that's coming in, study the name, is coming in to assist with the acceleration of everything. And Malcolm X is watching over it as a code flipper from the other side. What we call that a crossroads flip, right? The sister flipped me a rooster on the corner. That's a Baron Samadi symbolism from the Vadum. The rooster on the corner is the virility of the man that's coming to redeem or take vengeance for in some cases, right? And Malcolm is the subject matter. Red Fox is St. Louis red, is what you call the matter that crosses it, right? That's called a Celtic cross in tarot, right? So Red Fox, a lot of people don't know he was St. Louis red that he's talking about in the autobiography of Malcolm X, but some of us paid attention enough to remember, right? So the rooster is the one who wakes everybody up, sounds the morning alarm. When the chickens come home to roost, they come in to go to bed for the night. But when the rooster wake up in the morning, he send them all back out to the pasture. Right? So even the cows go get milked off the crowing of the rooster. They know that when the roosters crow, in 15 minutes, we got to be at the barn because Donald's going to get time for us to be milked. Most of us don't know the reason the cows so anxious to get milk, because if they don't get milk, it makes their udders sore. So they need to get it out so the soreness go away, right? Now, the only reason why I know this is because I'm from the land of milk and honey. And honey is from the bees. right? And the bees in the trap. And the trap is the trap house. And the trap house is next door, right? So if the trap house is next door and the bees in the trap, and the bees is the queens in flight, they in hiding. Then the girl next door is the queen, that's the bee in the trap, that's in the trap house.
Queen bee, right.
Right? So now we got to get the bee out the trap house and put her back on her throne. Right? So that's unlocking the gates. So who's going to unlock the gates? Go back to the Matrix. What do they call him? The key maker. Who was the key maker? That's Malachi York. Right? He was the key maker. Right? But he was set up across from Farrakhan. So you got a key maker and a master knocker. Right? Farrakhan Red House. Malachi Blue House. York right, Scottish right. Right? Farrakhan can look in the face of the enemy and the enemy can't stand him. Right? And half us can't stand him. And we don't even know why. Because most of us believe he was instrumental in the assassination of Malcolm X. Is the reason most of us don't like him. Right? I wouldn't fuck with Farrakhan until Malcolm came to me. Because I told nobody, the only person can tell me that he had nothing to do with it was Malcolm. And then he gave me an analogy. He said, because they always love to give analogies. He said, I liking Brother Lewis, because he still called him from the other side, Brother Lewis. He don't call him Minister Farrakhan because he didn't have that name when he left. So he said, Brother Lewis. That's what he called him. So he said, Brother Lewis was like a professional, a college level football player trying to get into the pros. Right? They say he was this college level. He's not privy. It's above his pay grade. Right? All he can do is talk shit. That he ain't got no juice. Farrakhan didn't get juice like that until the messenger was gone. And he rebuilt the nation after War of Dean, dismantled it. They called it the decentralization of the Nation of Islam. When Wallace dismantled it, it's because everything his father said was right. See, originally Malcolm was supposed to have been the one decentralized. They end up having to trade places because Wallace refused to run the red herring. I'm not going to put my life on the line for that old man. Malcolm said, I don't give a damn, I die. And they traded places. He had to move his pieces. In chess, we call that a castle. Right? So he repositioned his rook, he repositioned his knight, right? In order to protect the king. Malcolm red herring. Then Malcolm do a press conference. A lot of people don't pay this shit no attention. Malcolm did a press conference. He named the infiltrators in the public. Why is he naming them out in the open? And he constantly telling us the police are aware, right? He named them in the public because he's telling Elijah who the infiltrators is. Once Elijah know who the infiltrators is, now he can tell Farrakhan how to insulate himself. But first, Wallace got to destroy everything. Now you can rebuild it without these people having any inside power. Because they didn't infiltrate it. And now we can't say blame Whitey because Paleface didn't do it. Paleface can't get in. So when Malcolm got done explaining it to me, he was like, he didn't get drafted into the league until he left Boston and went to New York. I was already gone. I went back to fact check that shit. Because I be believing to myself I'm hallucinating. And that the shit that I'm seeing is not true. But when I go back and I see the video of Malcolm running these niggas' name out in the public, and he keeps, Malcolm from the streets. And he keeps saying and being adamant, I'm not telling you nothing the police don't know because they told me. And he said out his mouth, the Nation of Islam has been thoroughly infiltrated by the FBI and the New York police. The nigga that was standing on the nigga in the picture with Malcolm was a police officer. While Malcolm was laying on the ground, this nigga giving him mouth to mouth. He was a New York police officer.
Mm-hmm.
They had, according to the FBI files, they had a closed circuit CCTV camera crew up in the back of the Audubon ballroom. Malcolm wasn't shot from the floor, contrary to popular opinion.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
He was shot from a door on the side, and he was shot from somebody up where the balcony would have been.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But the balcony wasn't no balcony up there. They had already came in and made it where there was just a wall there.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that's how they did it.
Wow.
And then the whole time, all of the major news companies in the country, was filming it while it happened.
Mm-hmm.
Most of us didn't know that the FBI had confiscated all of the video.
Mm.
Some of it leaked.
Right.
And the leaked video showed the same niggas Malcolm naming as trigger men, and he's saying they the police.
Mm-hmm.
Malcolm was saying this. So when I went back to do my research, my fucking mind was blown, man. My mind was blown because I was like, how did I miss this shit the first go over?
Right.
I was never supposed to, when nobody's ever supposed to see it.
Mm.
We was never supposed to, 20 years later, see the news footage of Malcolm talking about what's going on.